Hey there viewers, it's Charlie. I'm back again with another Transformers review. And today's review is going to be on Legacy Evolution Metalhawk. Now, this guy and Twin Cast were first, revealed via leaked listings. And then I think a few days after that, there was some pictures shown, although it was just close-ups. And then they were fully revealed when all of Evolution Wave 2 were shown. So yeah. Now, looking at the box for this guy, of course we got the standard Legacy box, or in this case the Evolution ones, because it's blue. So of course we got the windowless packaging. Still have the paper strings attaching the figure to the box. It's taped in now. Got his name right there. But one thing I don't get is, with Galaxy Shuttle, he's actually Victory Universe. But with this guy and Minerva, they're not Master Force Universe. I don't know. But here we've got a picture of Metalhawk in his jet mode, which looks really nice. A Legacy Evolution. Plastic-free packaging, which they're trying to do nowadays. This side we've got a picture of his face. Got a picture of him wielding the sword. This side we've got one half of the Evolution mural. Got Armada Optimus Prime, which was recently leaked, which I'm really excited for. The back, we've got them in both modes. Got the Evo Fusion gimmick, which is combining these two guns in a rather, I guess, Times Return kind of way. That's what the thing reminds me of, at least. The top, the QR code if you want to scan that. And that's pretty much it for the box. Ready to put in the bin after the review. And well, taking a look at the figure. Well, even though it may not look like it upon first glance, this is actually a retool of Kingdom Cyclonus. Yeah, it doesn't look like it at first, but trust me, when we get to the transformation, you'll see that this is just a retool of Cyclonus. A pretty heavy retool because like the arms are in a different place, but a retool nonetheless. But still, this is a really, really good retool because, as I stated, the arms are now in a different position. The nose cone section is now entirely different. Got some added tail fins. They removed the cockpit section that Cyclonus normally has. The wings are now entirely different. And even some minor stuff, because the boosters are entirely different as well. Which we'll see when we compare him with Cyclonus. Yeah, just looking at some small details here. I mean, sure, he's got some gray here, which some people might see as bland, but I don't really mind how that looks, because I can overlook really, like if it doesn't mess with the structural integrity of the figure, then I don't mind. So, yeah. Looking at the underneath of the figure, of course we pretty much have the legs, and even these are retooled because don't seem to have the landing gear that Cyclonus did. Of course we've got the nose cone, which is hollow, unfortunately. Got the wings, which have the ports if you want to just plug that in. plug stuff in. I mean, got some ports here, which, well, there are some accessories that plug in to make the jet look more complete, which we'll get to soon. So, yeah. Well, let's just get onto the accessories. Starting off, we've got these two guns, which, well, for the jet mode, you're actually meant to plug them into these little ports here. And what these do is, I guess they form extra tail fins. If I can show this on camera. There we go. So you have this look going on. So I guess he's got 4 tail fins now. I mean, sure, why not? And also included is his sword. So yeah. I mean, it's not painted, but oh well. But it is nicely molded because got this tube right here. Got all this. And the way that this plugs in is this just goes in right on the top here. So you have this going on. So yeah. And even though I can't really show it right now, it does look like the guns can take blast effects, but yeah, we'll show that in the robot mode. But for the thrusters in the back, well, let's see if they can take blast effects. And they can. And well, there's 4 deaths, so he can take 4 blast effects for the thrusters. So, yeah, there you go. Now, comparing this guy with Cyclonus, we can see how much that they retooled. And they retooled a lot. I mean, seriously. In fact, let's actually pick up the camera so you can see how much they retooled. So you can see that with Cyclonus, he's got that really long nose cone which contracts for the transformation. Whereas with Metalhawk, he just has this, which just folds up once. Of course, Cyclonus has this, like, I guess, orange cockpit section, which is not there with Metalhawk. The arms are here with Cyclonus, and they face forward with Metalhawk. And in fact, the tail fins are on Cyclonus' arms here, but on Metalhawk, they're just on the legs because of the different transformation. Well, the slightly different transformation. And that's not even all of it. There's a slight difference in the robot mode as well. Well, I say slight, there's a few differences. But also, Cyclonus has landing gear, and Metalhawk doesn't. So, yeah. Would I prefer if Metalhawk had landing gear? Yes. Because, come on, this is a jet. And, in fact, I think that the other jet that doesn't have landing gear, not counting the Siege mold, Starscream is, but yeah, the only other jets I can think of that don't have a landing gear are Needle Nose and Starscream. So, but yeah, this is like a Voyager mold, so I don't see why they couldn't have kept the landing gear, unless they used the budget for that for the accessories. I don't know. But seeing how they were on Cyclonus, I do wish that they kept him here for Metalhawk. But, oh well. But anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for the transformation. And not the transformation, that's coming up next, but for the vehicle mode. And overall, I really like it, especially the retooling that they did, because, I mean, of course, like, the arms transform slightly differently, so, yeah. So, yeah, I quite like this vehicle mode. So, moving on to the transformation. So, to start the transformation, well, the transformation in general is pretty much the same as Cyclonus's. So, to start off, pretty much just going to untap the sides of the jet here. Get these sections up. Get the back section of the jet down. Extend all this out. Split the legs. Open these. Get the feet out. Pushing the thrusters. And then just close all this. So now I've got the legs. In fact, just try and push these in like so I don't have a big gap in the knees. And this section is definitely taken from Cyclonus. You take all this and just rotate all this around. But the rest is sort of similar to Cyclonus, although slightly done differently. So you open up the back and open up the chest, flipping the nose cone here. Flip all this. Close up the back, but don't close up the chest just yet because, well, you want to clip the shoulders in. And this can be sort of tricky because these can unclip as well. So yeah, this can be a rather fiddly bit of the transformation. And well, when I first got this guy out of the box, one of the arms was already unclipped. But once you have both clipped in, and hopefully if I did this right, which I didn't, because of course we are on camera after all. So yeah, just get these clipped in and just close up the chest finally. Then the wings transform just like Cyclonus's wings. The only thing is they don't have the little flap that goes up. So you untap it from the wing. Hang on, I can't speak correctly. So the wing untaps from the arm, and then just hinges back, like so. And then the forearm is actually retooled from Cyclonus, so instead of opening the arm up and then flipping the hand around, all you do is just get the hand out, and that's it. Which I actually kind of prefer, because it's sort of easier than Cyclonus's hand. So, yeah. And here we've got Metalhawk in robot mode. And yeah, a lot of the transformation is pretty much the same as Cyclonus's, but, well, there are some differences. Namely, how the arms transform and the way that you transform the main torso section, because, well, you have to do sort of the order of operations differently, because you have to fold up the chest after you do the arms. So, yeah. And unlike the other Pretenders in Legacy, this guy's robot mode is based on the inner robot. Because, well, the Decepticon Pretenders in Legacy, they're all based on the shells. But with this guy, because, well, the Autobot Pretenders shells were based on the humans, which I can actually show because I've got a landmine shell. So, yeah, with Autobot Pretenders, their shells were pretty much just humans wearing funny suits. But with Decepticon Pretenders, even though I don't have any other Pretenders, so let's just use Skullgrin from Legacy. Their shells were based on cool-looking monsters, which were translated to their Legacy figures. So, yeah. So, now this is just a guess, but it seems like for the Decepticon Pretenders in Legacy, their robot modes are going to be based on the shells, but for Autobot Pretenders, their robot modes are going to be based on the inner robots. This is just a guess. This is just a guess. Because, let's be honest, could you just imagine if they made a landmine that transformed it into something like this, but the remote looked like this? Yeah, that would just be ridiculous. So I'm sure if they did do a new landmine, they would probably just well, yeah, that would just make it based entirely. Okay, you know what? I'm rambling. Let's just go back to this. So with this robot mode, of course you can see the remnants of Cyclonus, namely the shoulders. Because, well, they're just the same shoulders that Cyclonus had. I mean, of course the wings are different, but still. And this was the big, I guess... this is the big indication that this guy was going to be a Cyclonus retool. But other than that, the entire figure is a full-on heavy retool. Like, seriously. Like, the legs are retooled, the forearms are retooled. I think even the chest is retooled. So I think the shoulders are the only bit of Cyclonus left, aside from the skeleton. So, yeah. Now the backpack, which is of course clean because the nose cone sort of folds up into the chest like it does with Cyclonus. And the only hollow parts here are the legs here. And the forearms, which unfortunately don't transform in the same way that Cyclonus does, which at one point I'll give to Cyclonus, but oh well. Now looking at the head, now that's actually quite a cool looking head, which I'm pretty sure that's based on the Master Force show. So yeah, and it does kind of make me wish that we had more Pretender figures based on the inner robot, namely Landmine. Even that will just make a any figure of Energon or a Cybertron Landmine, but yeah. Now, trying to not go on another ramble, let's actually give this guy his accessories. So, got the sword, which is in this weird gray, but anyway. Of course, you can just hold that. So you want that going on. And the two guns, which... I mean, if you want, you can keep them on the legs, which I have seen some people do, but what I like to do is combine them as per the Evo Fusion, and then you can hold them like so. And I noticed with the left gun, he doesn't really hold it that well. So I just have him hold it by the right gun. So yeah. And these are blast effect compatible. So yeah. I mean, they do sort of collide, so maybe you're better off using some of the more thinner ones, like these. But nonetheless, they're blast effect compatible. Even like 4 or 5 years later, Hasbro has not given up blast effects. Sure, there might be more hit or miss with figures nowadays, because like there's some figures that don't use them. Slammer, Blaster, and Twin Cast, Motor Master, but they could have given these up entirely after Legacy, but they're still going, which is amazing. And of course, we've got all the ports everywhere, so if you want to plug in any weaponizers or the Junkions. And of course, we've got the feet here, where if you want to plug in some blast effects for whatever reason. Or seeing how this guy's jets, well, you can plug in some of the boost blast effects so he can be like flying, then go ahead. So let's actually do that. So yeah. So, how does this guy look with Cyclonus? Or in this case, the select version, because, well, my Kingdom Cyclonus has, well, fallen victim to yellowing, so. But once again, we can see the heavy retooling that they've done. In fact, I think the only things that are the same are the feet, the legs, or the thighs here, and the shoulders. Everything else has been retooled. Oh yeah, my Cyclonus has got a loose landing gear. Maybe that's why they moved them, I don't know. But like, the head's been retooled. Like, these bits have been added, the chest's been retooled. The forearms have been retooled. The wings have been retooled. The legs and shits have been retooled. Seriously. This is definitely a heavy retool. And it just... Seriously, like, this is amazing. Oh, he's poking my paper backdrop there. So, yeah. And well, for the articulation on this guy, well, his head can go side to side. His arms can go full 360. Of course, he can T-pose. He's got 90-degree elbows. Got bicep rotation. Doesn't really have a waist swivel because it's more at the yeah. But his legs can go forward that far, back that far. The knees are sort of awkward because, I mean, you can't move them, but then you can stick your entire finger in there. So either you just have to do it like that, or just live with the fact that he's got a hole in his knee. I mean, you can sort of manipulate it, but yeah, it's definitely awkward. It's got swivel right there. Feet can move. You can do the splits. It's got ankle pivot, which is actually better than Cyclonus's. Because with Cyclonus, it can only move up to about there. But with Metalhawk, because it's a retooling, it can go further. Like, seriously. And that's about it. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this guy. So, complaints. Well, for actual complaints, of course, the knees, because, well, that's a big issue with this mold entirely. So, but I find the way that the shoulders work / transform is definitely awkward. Because with Cyclonus, oops, of course, I can just untap so you can transform like the torso section. But with Metalhawk, you have to untap the front, then get the shoulders untapped, then you can untap the back to get all that transformed. So it's definitely like all awkward, and sometimes it just doesn't tab in that well. So yeah, it's definitely really awkward. And it's definitely my least favorite part of the transformation. I also wish that this guy had landing gear, but that's more just a nitpick. Also, I've heard some people complain about the gray in this guy, and I mean, this could have been like a different color, but I'm not sure what color though. Because me personally, I don't really mind it. Well, do I recommend this guy? Well, I'm gonna say sure, because this is actually a really cool figure. I mean, probably not as good as Cyclonus, because like Cyclonus is just a really, really good figure, but this is still really good. I mean, it's not as good. It does add some faults, namely, it adds some hollowness to the arms. The shoulders are more annoying now. It gets rid of the landing gear. But this is still a really good figure. Like, it's not a bad figure. It's still really good. It's just not as good as Cyclonus, in my opinion. But it's still really, really, really good. Like, it's still amazing. It's just not as good as Cyclonus, in my opinion. Like, seriously, Cyclonus was peak Voyager engineering, in my opinion. But seriously, like, this does make me want more Autobot Pretenders in Legacy. Like, can we get a new landmine? Please. So, this has been my review on Legacy Evolution Metalhawk, and this is Charlie Young, signing off.